Hi everyone, this is Lisa Haven and I've got a breaking report to share with you, specifically in regards to a global pact or a global initiative that has just been signed by around 200 leaders who attended the Paris Climate Summit in France this November 30th through December 11th and 12th. Now the pact was made official on December the 12th and it includes everything from principles on redistributing the wealth for more pressing issues on greenhouse gases, going more greener on energy, and also countries having to push reports every 5 years. Now I'm going to show you the actual document that was signed and agreed upon and take you to a few points in that. But before I do, here's what President Obama had to say about this global event.
2 weeks ago in Paris, I said before the world that we needed a strong global agreement to accomplish this goal. An enduring agreement that reduces global carbon pollution and sets the world on a course to a low carbon future. A few hours ago, we succeeded. We came together around the strong agreement the world needed.
I want you to notice the words that Obama adamantly used in that report that you just heard, and that is strong global agreement, or New World Order agreement is likely a better term. Now, I've stated this before, but it has been known that they are going to use the climate change lie in order to push their New World Order agenda. And this is exactly what is happening at the New World Order Paris United Nations Summit that just took place this past week or weeks. Now, the other thing that we are to think about is Bible prophecy. Now, the Bible tells us that in the latter days that there will be a formation of a new world order, that eventually an antichrist will come and rule over every tribe, tongue, and nation. Well, this is exactly the start of that new world order that they have been pushing since September. And in my personal opinion, the New World Order is already beginning to make its branches into everything. Now, this agreement that I want to show you, I'm going to take you to a few points specifically on this document to highlight just a few things that I believe are imperative for you to know. So let's first delve into that report. Okay, so here is the official document. Notice the date, December 12th, 2015. This was just concocted and it was created during the Paris Summit. Now, what I want to do is just take you to a few highlights on this, not read through it all, but I do encourage you to read through it in its entirety. It's only about 29 some odd pages. But let's first find out what their plan is in general. And it says, their plan, recognizing that climate change represents an urgent and potentially irreversible threat to human societies and the planet, and thus requires the rightest possible cooperation by all countries and their participation in an effective and appropriate international response with a view to accelerating the reduction of global greenhouse gas emissions. Obviously, they are promoting the lie of climate change, which I've said numerous times. This is an agenda. The lie of climate change has been proven over and over again that there is no such thing. There's just normal cycles. But they're going to use that lie to concoct the New World Order, to concoct a global police force, to give us more taxes, even taxes, I'm sure, on the air we breathe, literally, carbon taxes, so to speak. Now, that was page 1. Scrolling down just a little bit to page 3, we're going to hit number 17 here, and this goes on to explain how much they want to reduce it by. Notes with concern that the estimated aggregate greenhouse gas emission levels in 2025 and 2030 resulting from the intended nationally determined contributions do not fall within least cost 2 degrees Celsius scenarios, but rather lead to a projected level of 55 gigatons in 2030, and also notes that much greater emission reduction efforts will be required than those associated with the intended nationally determined contributions in order to hold the increase in the global average temperatures to below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels by reducing emissions to 40 gigatons, or to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels by reducing to a level to be identified in the special report referred to in paragraph 21 below. So that's just their goal of how much they want to reduce greenhouse gases by. Not a whole lot, if you ask me. Now I'm going to scroll down to page 21 of this report. And then I'm going to hop back up because these are the articles. These are the main thing down here. And this is Article 2. And here it is here, and it says, here is some of the things that they want to include. The agreement in enhancing the implementation of the convention includes its objective aims to strengthen the global response to the threat of climate change in the context of sustainable development and efforts to eradicate poverty, including by, funny how they always tie in poverty to these things, but here are the ways. Holding the increase in the global average temperature to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, and to pursue efforts to limit the temperature increase to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, recognizing that this would significantly reduce the risk or impacts of climate change. Not significantly, by the way, if their lie is true, but their lie is obviously not. B, increase the ability to adapt the adverse impacts of climate change and foster climate resilience and low greenhouse gas emission develops in a manner that does not threaten food productions. Wait a minute, but they can use GMOs and the like to threaten our food production. C, making financial flows consistent with the path toward low greenhouse gas emissions and climate resilient development. So those are just some of the goals. Now, scrolling back up to page 4 here, what I want you to note also is that every 5 years, governments are going to be required, all the governments of the world are going to be required to give a report, give an update on where they stand. And this is found in page 4, numbers 23 and 24 right here. And it says a time frame up to 2025 to communicate by 2020, that's in 5 years, a new nationally determined contribution, and to do so every 5 years thereafter. Those parties who intended nationally determined contribution pursuant to decision 1/CP.20 contains a time frame of up to 2030 to communicate or update by 2020 these contributions, and to do so every 5 years after that. This is also in page 25. Back again to the bottom, and you're gonna have to excuse the scroll here, but Article 7 reiterates this, and it's number or page 25. So here it states, let me find that spot. I think I scrolled past it here. Okay, there it is. Or excuse me, this is actually Article 4. Had the wrong info on that, but Article 4, number 9. Each party shall communicate a nationally determined contribution every 5 years in accordance with that decision. So once again, it's just reiterating every 5 years what our governments have to do. Now, scrolling down a little bit further, what I'm going to cover now, and this is probably one of the most shocking and flooring of the entire document, but there is a plan for richer countries to give billions yearly to the poorer countries to aid in climate change. 100% redistribution of wealth. Now, we also warned, or I warned in reports prior, that this was definitely something our government was planning on doing, 100%. But here on page 8, number 54, it reads, further decides that in accordance with Article 9, Paragraph 3 of the agreement, developed countries intend to continue their existing collective mobilization goal through 2025 in the context of meaningful mitigation actions and transparency on implementation prior to 2025. The Conference of Paris, serving as the meeting of the parties to the Paris Agreement, shall set a new collective quantified goal from a floor of US dollars. Is that a hint there? 100 billion per year, taking into account the needs and priorities of developing countries. Every year, they want America to pay for these things. Now, this is also found in the articles as well as on page 16 here, and it says on 115 that this regard strongly urges developed country parties to scale up their level of financial support with a concrete roadmap to achieve the goal of jointly providing US dollars 100 billion annually by 2020 for mitigation and adaptation, while significantly increasing finance from current levels to further provide technologies capable of building support, yada, yada. This is also, I'm not going to take you to it, but Article 4, page 21, it's also in there as well. But basically what this says is countries like America are going to provide $1 billion every year to developing countries, plural. It doesn't say how many countries, so maybe there's 3 or 4 developing countries that need our help, thereby redistributing the wealth and full-blown socialism type mentality here. Obama is on the goal to socialism because socialism leads eventually to communism, which we all know, but definitely an agenda here. And here's the thing, we cannot afford to do that. We're already on the cups financially. We're already on an economic downturn as it is. And to give $1 billion away just like that, well, that's a problem. One last thing I want to show you here is on page 11, number 83. And this just calls on parties to ensure that education, training, and public awareness are reflected. In other words, they want us to train our children on the effects of climate change, put it in our media, put it everywhere to continually brainwash the masses into believing this global warming lie, cooling lie, and the whole 9 yards. So there you have it. All that to say that there is obviously an agenda in play here. They want the development of a new world order. And biblically speaking, we know this is something that is coming. And this is exactly what they're attempting to kick off. And also they want to bring everybody to a happy poor medium, so to speak, which would, explain the process of the redistribution of wealth from richer countries to poorer countries. This is definitely a communist, even socialist mentality here that Obama is pushing. And obviously he's not the only one. There's a bunch of leaders that have come together, around 200. I quoted that in the beginning, but something that we really need to be aware of. And I just wanted to bring it to you front and center. And I warned in an earlier report that they were going to concoct a global agreement. Now, I wrote that report about a month and a half ago, and here we have our official global New World Order agreement. This is so huge, especially for anyone who studies biblical prophecy. Even if you don't study that, then this should ring a lot of alarm bells, because eventually you put the world under one consistent rule. That's not going to be a peace-loving, happy place. Never has history ever proven that. Anyhow, wanted to bring you the latest on this. This is Lisa Haven signing off. Real quick, if you like what you saw, please hit that subscribe button now and check out my channel. I reveal all kinds of information, keep up to date, and report as honestly as I can with the news that is going on. And that is what I do here on my channel. Also, there's a product called Get the Tea. Life Change Tea, getthetea.com. This is something I personally use as a detox to cleanse out my system, and it will take all toxins out of your body, and just you're really feeling better as a result. And that's my personal testimony. And it also goes to help and support my channel, as well as my partnership with foodforliberty.com. Right now, I do believe they are offering free shipping through January 1st. If you don't have prepped food supplies, please get prepped with food. It's one of the essentials that we're going to need when push comes to shove, and we really are living in that end time tribulation, I should say, not the official tribulation, but the end time period spoken of in biblical prophecy. So get prepared with all these things. And thanks again for checking out my channel.